Let's get it. I'm repping my homie right now, DMV 3-on-3. This will be the second year if Corona, decides to fade away before the summer. Be coming to you live with the DMV 3-on-3 workouts and league. I enjoyed it last year. Tip of the day, again, vitamins are key, as well as if you feel like you are coughing a lot or whatever, sneezing, make sure you're just clearing your chest of the mucus and everything. It's very important because they say that's where the virus is most dominant and where it thrives. So make sure you stay active too. What's up, cuz? How you doing? After all this corona, we got Link. All right, let's get this thing started again.
Episode 7, take 7.
Take 7. It's all good. It's all good. All right. Are you down for the shot clock again?
I got my answers now. At least I know what I'm gonna do.
I might switch it up on you though.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right, 24 seconds. All right, GOAT, Shaq or Will Chamberlain?
It's like the GOAT 5 man. I gotta go Shaq. Yeah, Shaq.
All
You're
right.
just unguardable.
All right. Uh, which one do you prefer? Morgan Wooten or his son Joe Wooten?
Morgan Wooten.
All right. Didn't have much time because that was off the top of the dome. I didn't want to throw the same ones at you again.
All right, let me give you one. Chipotle, Qdoba, or Moe's, or just a taco.
Ooh, Chipotle. Unfortunately, I haven't had Disher Taco yet.
Wow, it's solid. It's solid.
Because I was in Florida, for 5 years when
Yeah.
when that was starting to develop, and then I was right in Germany, right, when I was in transition back here.
Yeah.
So yeah, I got to try that out. ASAP.
What's your go-to meal in Germany?
Man, as far as like eating out or cooking.
Let's do both.
Okay, so eating out. Dang, it's hard to say because I didn't eat out a lot, but I like the carbonara. I went to a lot of places where they had some really good carbonara, and then
that's like the pasta with like ham or bacon.
Right.
Yeah.
But this was a lot of places, were Italian, so it wasn't necessarily the German cuisine. German cuisine, I mess with the schnitzel, but I like the chicken schnitzel. I don't really like try to stay away from the pork, but if you go to a good place, you can find a really good one.
I like it.
In the house, I made a lot of stir fry. Threw the veggies in there, all the peppers, because you can have that for a couple of days.
Yeah.
I was on my fat boy life, so I was eating the whole pan at once, but
dang.
Yeah, man.
You were also burning a lot of calories though, so that's all right.
Exactly. All right, so when this connection comes back. All right, you hear me?
Yep.
All right, so you were talking about last time before you got cut off. How did you get your career started in coaching?
Yeah. So yeah, like I was saying, the summer after my freshman year, I started working a lot of basketball camps, in Richmond when I was living at home to make some money, but also just to be around the game, and to work out with the other camp counselors, in the morning before or after us working the camps. And then when I graduated, I got a teaching job in DC at a charter school, and then I was at the middle school and I literally just walked over to the high school after emailing the athletic director. And then I ended up helping out the varsity team for a full year. Before then, I got the connection with St. John's because the previous head coach is from the Richmond area, And when I was playing, yes, the cadets. And then when I was playing in Richmond, he was a coach there before he moved up to SJC.
Right. So it was a lot about networking and, just taking your opportunities as you went and also just putting yourself out there,
For
That's what it
sure.
sounds like to me.
Yeah, I'm so thankful. I mean, I was
Okay.
happy at my old school. Yeah, I was happy at my old
Yeah.
school, but I just couldn't really pass up the opportunity, to at least reach out to Coach Mack, who was the previous head coach, and
Right.
try to access all the connections and information that he has. And I was fortunate enough to get a job at St. John's the following year.
Right. Okay. That's dope. I'm glad that worked out for you. Um,
For sure.
as a
Me too.
coach, yeah, as a coach and a teacher, this is affecting you. Like, I can only imagine, but personally, like, give us a breakdown of how it's affecting you.
Yeah. I mean, I would say the first thing is it's given me a crazy sense of gratitude, an immense sense of gratitude. Just, I'm still healthy, thankfully. I have a roof over my head. I'm still, able to, work, whether it's work from home. I'm still able to work with my students and, communicate with my players. So I'm super thankful right now. Um, but as far as like logistically, this is our third week teaching online through St. John's. So it's a lot of emails with my students and parents, and then a lot of video conferences as well. Just checking in with kids to see how they are doing. Um, I'm lucky.
Right.
I live with my oldest brother, so we do a good job of holding each other accountable as far as we're trying to like eat healthy, work out, break a
Yeah.
sweat every day, and just kind of keep a solid routine, just so we're not laid up on the couch all day.
Right. Because you can go crazy just watching Netflix and doing the same things.
Yeah,
Can definitely get you out of your routine, especially when you have to be paying attention to your job and whatnot.
for
So
sure.
good to hear. Next,
Yeah, I mean,
what
and like
lessons?
I was just saying,
Yeah.
like the final way that the
Oh, my bad.
coronavirus is really impacted would be like the shirt that you
Oh yeah.
were supposed to be a spring league.
Right.
Yeah. And so we had to postpone that. And so we're hoping to be able to do it at the end of May and during June. Um, and we're kind of just waiting it out right now to see, what the CDC just decides as far as, what's acceptable and what's not.
Right. Right. Definitely got to keep the kids healthy, but basketball doesn't stop.
Yeah. I
Um,
mean, this is the longest I know for sure it's the longest that we've ever been since playing basketball, not being in the gym. It's a weird feeling.
oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm usually when I get home, I'm in the gym the next day.
Right.
From overseas or whatnot. So it's definitely a little weird. It's challenging, all the above.
For sure.
So obviously, you have some experience playing as well as coaching. Um, so what lessons have you learned from the game that you may not have? I mean, from coaching the game that you may not have learned from playing the game.
Yeah. One thing that you kind of hear in the coaching world is the X's and O's of the game is really only 10% of what coaching really is. And you don't really kind of see that as a player. You're worried about your process getting better. But there's so much time that's put in. I mean, just as far as the logistics of, when is the bus gonna leave? When is it gonna what are you guys gonna do for the pregame meal? Have you gotten a hotel for our tournament in Nashville? There's all these different communicating to alumni and to parents, and then not to mention helping out the kids and building that relationship with them. For like within in the classroom and at home. There's so much other stuff that goes into running a successful program more than just drawing up that game winning play with 10 seconds left.
Right. There's so much that that the outside eye doesn't see, and so much that the even the players don't see
Hmm.
that the coaches are doing. Being a college athlete, We know about coaches being up after the game for 5-6 hours reviewing film, having that scouting report for the next game ready, like
Yeah.
no questions about it. As soon as you get to practice the next day. So definitely
Yeah.
commend all the coaches, for the hard work they do.
And honestly, it's really just a fear of not being prepared. You have this fear of not putting your kids in the best position to win, because I mean that's
Right.
a terrible feeling if you lose the game and you're like, man, I could have watched a little bit more film. I could have put have prepared for this play that they ran, or this personnel that they used. So that's kind of what really drives coaches to be crazy about film and preparing, because you never want to be that's the reason why you guys weren't able to win the game.
Right. It's good. So next, going to the next question. A lot of downtime right now for players. What do you recommend for players, like what they could be doing at the moment, regardless of level, if they're in high school, professional, or even college?
Yeah, I mean, speaking to my players specifically and like my students,
Yeah.
the first message that I have been giving them is to be a good citizen, a good son, a good daughter, brother, sister, a good community member, because there are a lot of people right now that are struggling, and it is important for you to bring a smile to someone's day, maybe to help with the dishes around the house, and to really to be a positive light in this challenging situation. So I mean that's the first thing I would say. Forget basketball, forget your development, but really be a positive impact on someone's day. But then as far as like specifically for basketball things, if I'm just talking to the general public, would be to use the internet. I mean, like there are so many resources just on like YouTube. I know there are thousands and thousands of these body weight workouts that you can do if you're fortunate enough to have a basketball at home. There are ball handling workouts that you can do. If you're fortunate enough to have a basketball and a basketball hoop, there are plenty of one ball workouts that you can do. So it's going to be really interesting when we all come back.
Yeah.
Which athletes separated themselves during this time and which ones were just eating chips on the couch hanging out.
Right. Right. Man, any SJC basketball athletes watching this, you better be coming back with the Kyrie package, the
I know,
Curry three
right?
point
You might
range,
as
and
well.
a Curry 3-point range and a James Harden step back. Like, we need that for the next season.
Yes, yes.
So, just like, obviously you built your passion for coaching from your playing career. Give us some highlights from your own career, that you have.
Yeah. I mean, it's so cliche that what people say is like you don't really remember, the buckets you got or the assists that you got. It's really the relationships that you build, and I mean, it's so true. I was so thankful, to have a great relationship with some athletes that from sixth grade we played all the way through high school.
Wow.
And so they really helped me develop my love for competing, but also for the game of basketball. And it's also really cool thinking about all the guys that I played with in college. How successful they are in all types of industries around the entire world. And so like being around them helps me become a better person. And I try to learn from them as much as I can. So I'm just thankful that basketball was able to bring me those types of relationships.
Yeah, man. Like, speaking from my personal experience, I know people. I interviewed Lonnie Cabrera last week, who's sorry, not last week, earlier this week, who swam for for Barbados in the Olympics, and she was able to use her connections to stay in the swimming world, but in the professional working world. So being connected on and off the court, with those relationships that you develop is really important, because you never know, how far it can take you. You can be either end up just being lifelong friends, or you can even be business partners in the end.
Right.
And it's really important to cultivate those things.
Yeah. I mean, and like that just goes back to no matter who you are talking to, be a good person, because you never
Yeah.
know, what type of relationship that can grow from.
Right.
It could be somebody that you will never see again, but it could also be somebody else who's whose father is a coach for the Philadelphia 76ers, or whose son is going to be a really good basketball player in 12 years. Like you really don't know. And so in this industry, it's so important just to be a professional and kind person.
Facts. Very, very true. So, getting into some creative questions right here. So,
Okay.
if you had the chance to be in the NBA All-Star 3-point shootout, this year's version, where they got the deep 3-point shot, right?
Mm-hmm.
Regardless of error, who would be the 5 people that you would shoot out against?
So are we talking like these are like the guys that I know that I'll be able to beat, or who guys that I just want to be able to compete against?
That's the trick of the question.
Yeah. Because I'm like, Shaq is on there. I'm competing against Shaq. Ben Wallace. I want to shoot against Ben Wallace.
Okay. So
Man, who
let's
else?
let's let's say it like this. So give us your, I'm gonna win, and then give us your who you want to compete with, and like really see if you can beat them out.
Yeah. I mean, what's crazy is there's not that many people right now in the league that aren't shooting threes. It's like the game has evolved so much. You got dudes that are
Right.
7'3", like Porzingis, that are able to catch and shoot from 3 feet behind the
Yeah.
NBA line. The game has
Yeah.
evolved so much. So,
And
I,
Thon Maker.
yeah, another
Yeah,
example.
he really impresses me with his abilities.
Yeah.
So
Uh,
who's the list? You got to
so
give us
I'm
the
I'm trying to
list.
think. I'm sure there are plenty of people before like the 1980s that I would love to do this against because they never shot the ball outside of 12
Right,
feet.
right, right.
But some guys I would say that like would be really cool to compete against.
Hmm.
Like Larry Bird would be dope. I mean, the whole story about how he like walked into the All-Star game and said, "All right, who's getting second place in the 3-point contest?"
Yeah.
That took a lot of confidence and a lot of swag. So I think that would be really cool. Um, so some other guys that I've watched a lot of Doug McDermott workouts, and
Oh
that
yeah.
guy dude can really really shoot, and he puts a lot of time in the gym. Um, so I got a lot of respect for him. Uh, who are some other like super elite shooters? Or like one guy that really made a strong impression on me. I was in college, and one of my roommates loves the Knicks. So for his birthday, we went up to go see a Wizards Knicks game. We were there like an hour early, and we got to see Steve Novak warm up.
Oh
And it's
yeah.
like this dude literally played like 8 minutes a game, in the NBA, but he was actually like 96 from 100, like while he's warming up from three. It's like
Yeah.
you really don't understand how elite some of these shooters are. So all that to
Right.
say is,
That's true.
no matter who I'm going against, I will have a tough task. It better be a great night for me.
Very true. Very true. Dang. Yeah. That takes me back to when Melo was in New York. Novak was definitely a nice little piece to the team.
Yep.
Him, Jr. They had Raymond Felton, right?
Yep. For a year or
Yeah.
two. Yeah, he's a journeyman for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Man. That's when I was a Knicks fan. I'm no longer a Knicks fan.
Yeah.
Well, I would say I'm a person to person fan. So Melo, that's always been my favorite NBA player growing up. Well,
Nice.
first it
Yeah.
was Allen Iverson, then as I grew Melo, he just had the cornrows, the swag. He was from
Yes.
he was from this area, and he was just dominant. And he went out on top at Syracuse as a champ. So I really enjoyed that. And
Yes.
then, yeah, and then he gave Kobe work in his first years coming into the playoffs. Even though they lost, he still gave Kobe some work.
Yeah. I mean, if I'm guarding Melo at the 15-foot mark, I'm in trouble. I know
Right.
I'm in trouble. It's over for me.
Yeah. Seriously. Seriously.
Mid-range assassin.
Right. Man. All right. So obviously, uh, once the coach finishes once the team finishes the season, you guys are already thinking ahead. You want to figure out what you guys want to get done for the summer, and where you want to be next season. So, as far as St. John's and the WCAC, what are your expectations for the 2021 season?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this year, the WC like the 2020 class in the WCAC was super super strong. Just starting off with the St. John's guys, we had three really good seniors uh, who were specifically really good defenders, and so
For that.
when we look forward to the next year, and like as we go even further away from that, we're really gonna miss their ability to like we would always rely on our great defense. Even when we couldn't score that well, we knew that we had the capability of keeping teams like below 60 points every game. Um, I mean, DeMatha is losing two top 50 players in Earl Timberlake and Hunter Dickinson. Gonzaga is losing three high level seniors. Chuck Harris, Miles Stute, Terrence Williams. PVI is losing a McDonald's All-American in Jeremy Roach. So there's a lot of pieces that are being lost in 2020. We feel like we have a nice young core next year, and we're hoping to be able to get back in the gym as soon as possible because we have such a young group that we want to make sure that we are developing them. Kind of teaching them the St. John's way to play as we go into this next season, which hopefully we're even able to play.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, hopefully you guys can. I would love to keep up with you guys as usual. This year, I saw you guys got to number 8 in the nation, man. That's pretty dope. When I was at St. John's, we were struggling to be top in the WCAC, but then again, WCAC was extremely strong then. We had people like, Tyler Thornton, Quinn Cook, Victor Oladipo, Raquel Hopkins, guys that necessarily aren't in the NBA, but they're overseas killing it,
Right.
Yeah. I just got a couple of spontaneous questions for you as well.
Yeah, go ahead.
You go finish what you were about to say.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's what really attracts people to play in this conference is you're always going to compete against other teams that have these elite players that are going to have great futures, and so you never really have a night off, which prepares you for that college level, and ultimately for some guys like yourself being able to get paid to play basketball.
Right. Yeah, definitely a challenging league, and it's not for everybody. You got to come with a strong mindset and understand that you may be the top guy in your middle school or your your AAU team, but when you come into the WCAC, St. John specifically, like you might be fighting every day, to get 1 minute on, during the course of the season. So that just goes to show how tough it is.
But I mean,
next question I want to speak on.
Yeah.
Oh, I was gonna say, as far as like the DMV 3-on-3, I really like you guys' initiative, like being there when it first started. I just wanted to know, like, what's your end goal, or how do you guys plan to how do you guys want to impact the community with the DMV 3-on-3?
Yeah. Well, as you know, as an assistant with St. John's, one of our roles is really to get out and watch middle school AAU basketball to really kind of see, who that next really big talent will be. And as I'm sitting there watching all these games, so often I see, bad habits being formed, whether teams are sitting in a 2-3 zone and the score is 14-10 with 2 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter, or it's like 85-20 and a team is just pressing the whole time and just forcing turnovers. So I wanted to kind of think of supplement to that 5-on-5, like AAU and CYO and school basketball, kind of another way just to really focus on like the fundamentals of what you're going to be tested at the high school level. So you're always playing man to man. You're more involved, with the screening action on the ball. There's more spacing for every player, and so I just think 3-on-3 is a growing sport, a growing like spin-off of the sport across the world, and it's a great way, especially at a young age, to get more touches and develop quicker rather than just going to a 5-on-5 game and playing a few minutes, sitting in a 2-3 zone and going home.
Right, very true. And the one I remember. Last year, you had asked me to speak on, what 3-on-3 means, and I was just giving my example from in college. A lot of coaches break down the offense and defense on 3-on-3 because a lot of actions have, 3-on-3 situations where it's a down screen, then it's a, ball screen and roll, where it's only, those 3 actions are going on. So it's really important that's a great way to move up to 5-on-5, especially for beginners, and a great way to learn those different type of actions and plays before you even know you're, you know, even learning.
Right.
So I think it's
Right.
really cool, and I'm definitely glad to be a part of it for sure.
Yeah. I mean, for that first time you're doing it now, I was so thankful to have all these awesome former, players and coaches like yourself to be there, because one of the huge things that we want to like promote with our league is, it's not just like Johnny's dad who's coaching their team. It's an experienced player who really wants to, help kids develop their games, but also have fun. So, you are a huge asset, and
Right.
we hope to have you back, the next uh, a 3-on-3 league that we're able to host.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm definitely there. No questions asked.
Yes, sir.
Now, I don't care where I am in the country. I'm there. You know.
Love it. You can just take that private
All
jet
right,
back to
man.
DC.
Yeah. Hopefully, I got it like that by the time. Yeah, man. All right. So that's all I got. All the questions I got for you today. I'm gonna let you get back to your students and
Yes, sir.
the rest of the things you got on your task list. I really appreciate you, you know, taking your time to do this. You gave us a very unique perspective coming from a player, coach, and teacher all at once.
Yeah.
Knowing that, you know, all this is affecting you, but you're still staying on top of your game and making sure you get your things done and even staying in shape, man. That's really good.
Yes, sir. St.
Yeah.
John's legend, Julian DeBose, man. It was good talking
Oh,
with you,
man.
and hope you and yours stay healthy during this challenging time.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. Hopefully we can link up real soon on and off the court.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. All right, man. I'll talk to you soon.
Yes, sir. Peace.
All right, peace. Yo, that was so dope. Getting the coach's perspective, you know, on this current quarantine situation, on how it's affecting him. He's also a teacher at my alma mater, St. John's College High School in Washington D.C. I'm glad I was able to get him on here. He gave us some great perspective as far as, you know, how he got into coaching, what drove him to coach. If you're just tuning in, some creative questions like, you know, NBA All-Star game, 3-point contest, highlights of his career, and just all around good guy. You know, I'm glad I met him. We actually met last summer. I went up to St. John's to work out, and we ended up connecting, and we're still in touch now, which goes to show, you know, the camaraderie and the connections you can make from sports, you know, in general, and where that can bring you as far as lifelong friendships and business connections. So hopefully you guys keep that in mind. And I hope you guys are staying safe. Obviously, I say this all the time: staying clean. You know, wiping down all the surfaces in your house, only doing the essential things, and just making sure you're up to date. And make sure you stay reconnected or connected with your loved ones, because a lot of us are in the crib and don't know how to maintain. So the best way you can do that is just a simple text, simple conversation through the phone, and just showing love. All right. So with that being said, we're gonna dip out on Athletes in Quarantine Volume 7. Stay paying attention.